Heyo, we're back. It is season 2, episode 3. Today we are here to review the shittiest teams in our Dynasty Football League. It is our third year. We're half PPR, 12-man league. A bunch of spots in our starting lineups, but nothing too crazy there. Pretty standard. So let's get right into the bottom of the bottoms here.
Yeah, back at it again, going over these bottom four. Let's get the screen share going. Starting off with Benny Ballers. We got a new owner coming in. Bennett is taking over this team. A guy that Stu knows. Nice guy taking over a pretty poor team. What do you see from it?
Yeah, it's just it's a veteran team, we'll call it, right? Looking at his starting lineup, these guys aren't going to be fantasy relevant really like this year, and definitely not next year or the year after that. You know, Marvin Jones, DeAndre Hopkins might be relevant when he comes back, but how many more years are you really counting on? Russell Wilson is no spring chicken. Lenny Fournette's going to be like out of the league soon. I mean, I think he either needs to really, really, really commit to going for it, and he needs to sell anyone under 25 and all of his draft picks to try to bolster this and go for it, or he needs to sell pretty much everybody and just get stupid young and get picks out of it. He doesn't really have a young bench. He doesn't have a lot of bright spots, but the longer he just kind of lingers, the longer he's just going to get, eighth, ninth in the league and just donate money every year. So he's going to need to make a lot of moves here, one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Veteran was probably the most polite way you could have put it. He's got some guys with one foot out the door. People who just really haven't proven themselves. That's no fault to him. This is a team he inherited, right? So really, Bennett, it's going to come down to what you do with this year. And, we have a couple good suggestions for you. You are the fantasy expert of your own team, though. So let's see what happens. Looking at your draft capital, what you're picking up is a clean slate. Got all your picks going forward. You got some early draft picks. Looking at where you finished, you could take advantage of that. Or like Micah said, if you're ready to really push for a championship, you probably want to start selling. But pretty straightforward team. Our next team that we're going to dive into is the Guru, Ed, another new owner inheriting a roster. What do you think of the Guru's team?
Yeah. First, I want to talk about the Guru himself. Anyone who's willing to pay money for this team deserves a shout out. So shout out to Ed. His owner name is Deterred03, and he definitely took over a turd here. So he's probably not in for a great season, but if he hits that rebuild button and gets to work here, he does have some pieces that he could sell. Especially right now, if he was to hop on the sell train, he could sell some pieces right now and kind of start that rebuild pretty quick.
He's got some names with some good preseason buzz around him, definitely. The value might not be any higher than what it is. So yeah, I think it's going to be, up to him what he wants to do with it. We don't really have to go too much in depth because I don't even know what his focal piece would be of this team right now, right? He doesn't have a young stud. He doesn't have that person that he can just say, this is where my team is going to be built around. There's just nothing there. There's nothing to really cling to. He's got to find an identity this year and start shaping it towards what he wants. Again, for him, luckily picking up this team, he has all his capital. He can choose what he wants to do with it. If he lets his team play out, he's going to have some good draft picks early in those rounds. But if he wants to turn a corner, he's going to need more of them. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. But yeah, good luck to you, Ed. Hopefully you find this identity, and next season, this preseason talk is talking about the direction you took and how well it's going. Second to last team, somebody who I know you have a few opinions about, the process here, Jason, Mr. Chanette, taking this team and definitely rebuilding. What do you think of this roster?
I mean, he's got 4 people in his lineup who are questionable. Half his bench is questionable. He's built this roster based on ACL rehabs and modern medicine. So I think if his team is healthy, he might be able to make playoffs, but I don't think he has enough superstar players to really contend here. And yeah, I do have some feelings about this roster. And Jason, I have no issue with Jason himself. I have issue with the trades he makes for a team that was rebuilding and still kind of is rebuilding. Right? You can't be losing trades really, really, really badly. If they're close and you lose them, all right, fine. I understand there's risk in every trade, and there should be, but you can't lose them as bad as he has lost some trades.
Um, yeah, I mean, I was the benefactor of one of those trades. I'm not going to say I'm upset by that by any means. It is unfortunate. It was a dice roll. Marlon Mack could have fell either way, to be fair. Definitely did not fall the way he wanted it to, but he does have some nice pieces. Dobbins, Kenneth Walker is a pretty good core to build off of. Kadarius Toney showed nothing but promise in his season last year when he was in and out of the lineup. If he can stay healthy, it's those question marks, right? If he can stay healthy, T. Higgins could be an absolute stud, could be better than Jamar Chase if he really develops right. Unlikely, but definitely like in the realm of possibilities. So he's got pieces. Let's see what his capital looks like. Um, Surprisingly, he still has some capital. He's got 3 first rounders next year. Definitely not playing for this year. He's got 2 first going into 2024. He's not playing for this year and he knows it. So at least he knows that he's playing some chess. It's just a matter of what moves he makes going forward with that capital or how to get more. So,
Right. Yeah,
all
three
right,
first rounders going into next year. I mean,
that's
just don't
big.
give those up. And no matter what happens this year, you keep some of those guys like T. Higgins and Michael Pittman. Pair those with picks next year. You could be looking strong. But stop donating stuff to Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. He's a smart kid. I kind of we'll
Mhm.
see what happens. It does definitely make some moves, but you see the vision when you see the draft picks, when you see the young guys.
Yeah,
So
he's got a really good young roster to still have 3 draft picks.
yeah, for sure. Our last and final team was our 12th place team last year. A new to Dynasty owner as well. Uh, Fan of the show, friend of the show, was on last season a couple times. Mr. J Rod, White Claw Outlaws. What do you think of his roster?
Yeah, he's got some solid guys, right? Javonte Williams, DJ Moore. I know Travis Etienne, even Ramondre Stevenson supposed to be good. Gabe Davis, like he's got a couple of guys. And I say guys, right? He's not going to win the league. He probably isn't even making playoffs here. But I don't think he's getting last place with these guys again. So I think he's got some starter stuff here. That snowball's rolling down the hill, right? Of rebuild, but he needs to just keep building on what he has here.
Yeah, and similar to Jason, he has 3 first round picks next year, and he didn't give up any capital,
Yeah.
right? So he is sitting pretty good. If some of these guys take the next step, maybe you sell some of the veteran guys, knowing he's not going to win, they pick up a couple more picks next year. Super loaded with talent. 2024, it seems like every year the talent just keeps getting better and better for these NFL prospects. So it's like the ceiling can only go up. Keep getting capital, give you guys a couple of years and hit those stud pieces, and you'll be looking good in a couple of years here. But next year he's going to just have to play the upset guy. Hopefully he ruins a few people's weekends, maybe ruins somebody's chances at the playoffs, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He might. Ceiling is 6 seed, right? That's
Yeah.
about the ceiling for this roster.
But to your point, he can play upside. There's other people who will be on the playoff bubble, and he could beat their teams with a good week.
Yeah, absolutely. He absolutely could. If some of these guys, you're never going to see Daryl Williams being that guy. That's going to be somebody he isn't starting regularly. But James White retired. He's got Stevenson. He looked good last year. ETN took the year. Coming back from that Achilles, I believe it was. DJ Moore has been a stud. We'll see how he does with an actual quarterback with Baker back there. I say actual quarterback. I don't believe in Baker too much, but more than Sam Darnold and anyone he's had throw to him recently, at least. Gabe Davis, like you say, he's got pieces. Let's see what happens with him.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. These couple last place teams really got their draft capital. Really, you can see how the league's forming, right? We're top tier teams from that first episode, not a lot of draft capital, or at least not as much as they would like, with a bunch of studs. And then we get to these bottom ones this last episode here of our season outlook. And you have guys with capital, you have guys with young guys. you're not expecting anything great this season, but you can see the dynasty taking effect, right? And that's all that we really hope for, is to have a competitive 12-man league. And that's why we do this stuff.
Well said. And on that note, we will end it there. That concludes our season preview. From here, we will be jumping into week 1 matchups. Who is playing who has the advantage, where should we be keeping our eye on going into week 1. So we will catch you guys there. We are out.
So yeah.